All right, happy Wednesday night, everybody. Welcome on into the daily broadcast. Coming to you live from the Hat Creek Interior Studios, hatcreek.us, the website, great Facebook page, custom furniture and accessories, Western style furniture. You don't have to own a ranch to live like it. Although, if you do own a ranch, you need Hat Creek Interiors. Check out their showroom in Lubbock, 10101 South Slide Road, or just go, like I said, online and tell Corey Flanagan and his people thanks for supporting and being a great part of what we do here in Raiderland. It's Wednesday. What if Wednesday? Choose your own adventure. We usually give you a what if question. Tonight, you can give me the what if question, and I'll answer, and we'll go from there. We'll discuss. Also, what can Texas Tech learn from the demise of Oklahoma State? As Texas Tech opens up with a 38.5 point favorite line, the largest point spread ever in the history of the Big 12 in a conference game against a team that just a couple of years ago was playing in the title game. And Mike Gundy was engineering, a great run in Stillwater. And yet here we are just a couple of short years later. What can you learn from that? What's the takeaway from what's gone on in Stillwater? And how do you avoid that if you're Texas Tech? It's Hammond time. Baron Morton questionable. Don't play him. But if it's Hammond time, what kind of game plan do you want to see Saturday versus what you saw last Saturday? And then who is the best wide receiver right now for Texas Tech? The go-to guy, the guy that you want to see Tech getting the ball to, that you establish this guy. Who is that? Did I leave anything out? I don't know. You tell me. Jump on the United Supermarkets chat line and let's have some great conversation tonight. We'll hang around as long as the conversation is good. I'm tired. I'm worn down. It's Wednesday, but you guys are going to pick us up, right? You're going to make it happen. In three, in two. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. You start your day there every day. You jump in, get the question of the day. You check out the Raiderland hot links, fresh, hot, every day, brought to you by Jackson Brothers Meat Locker in Post, Texas. Generation strong, West Texas legends. Handle all of your meat processing. They ship to you. Go to their website, and when you order, tell them you heard about it here in Raiderland. Also, buy Shropshire Insurance of Texas. Big enough for the whole state, based in Lubbock, independent, just like you guys. Oh, and Jeff Shropshire doing his own podcast now, doing his own show. Dude, like I don't have enough competition. Now my great sponsors are jumping in there. Check it out, Shropshire Insurance. And of course, South Plains College in Levelland. The road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. So many great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. Over 100 degree plans available for you out there. Continuing education, whether you're a college age student, non-traditional college age student, it doesn't matter. They've got something for you. They are a huge part of what goes on in West Texas and the South Plains, and we're so pleased that we get to tell you about all the cool things that they do at South Plains College. So yeah, the road to Raiderland, it does run through Levelland. Want to hear from you tonight? What can Tech learn from Oklahoma State, the demise of Oklahoma State? Hammond time. What do you want the game plan to look like? By the way, I don't want to see Baron Morton play at all. At all. And then the best wide receiver for Texas Tech. And then finally, we do What If Wednesday. That's alt history. And typically, I give you a what if question, and we flip around history and historical things. Today, I'm giving it to you. You give me the question, I'll give you the answer based on what I think might have happened in an alternate history universe. So let's have some fun, shall we? Get it going on the comments tonight. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun. We are. It's a good night. It's Wednesday. Beautiful day in West Texas. It was almost cold this morning. Darn near cold this morning. I can tell because all the wasps around our place are going, oh man, we gotta figure out a way to get into your attic and house and stuff and do things. Wasp. I don't like them, but they pretty much leave you alone. He gets in on the United Supermarkets chat line. That's JC Double T. Hi, you're an adventure. You're an adventure plenty with daily knowledge drop. I have no idea what that means exactly, but if it's good, I'm it. If that's good, JC, I'm it. All right, we're gonna go with that for now. Old Texas Tech Man, 91-44. So he was born in 1944 and he graduated in 91. Raider fans need to show Will Hammond support. Baron Morton supports Will Hammond, plus let's see some Mike Hudson. All right, so we'll unpack this in reverse going forward. Mike Hudson just can't get on the field because he's not good enough. That's the reality. That's the harsh reality, maybe, that perhaps he was overhyped coming out of high school. Tremendous ability, but he's not good enough to get out there and unseat any of the top tier receivers that you have on the roster. He can't do it. I don't know that he'll be here next year. I want him to develop in a perfect world. You give a guy a long time, but this ain't a perfect world, because you're going to lose receivers this year, and you're going to hit the transfer portal, and you're going to hit NIL, and you're going to bring in new receivers. As far as Baron Morton supporting Will Hammond, yeah, they apparently seemingly have a great relationship, starter, backup. And I was saying earlier this week that if there's any idea that Baron Morton isn't better than, good to go, don't play him. Let him rest. It's a free space this weekend. If you can't beat Oklahoma State with Will Hammond, forget about Kansas State on the road. Forget about BYU. All right? Charlie, game plan against the Pokes is just show up. Yeah, but it's a legitimate game, and Tech needs to cover. You got to do something. We got to have something to talk about, right? We got to have something to talk about. Don't steal the topics, Charlie. Alternate world, alternate history. What if Wednesday? We usually give you the question and say, what if this happened? Today, you guys get to fire at me and give me your alternate history. Alternate history, Sasser, Hammond, Hughes win the national title with Dickey. So the year would have been the final year of the Southwest Conference. You get, what was it, Eastern Michigan? Who was it? The first round game. Dickey was deathly sick. And, you run through North Carolina, you take down North Carolina, and they had Vince Carter on that team. Vince Carter was on that team. And you run into Georgetown with Othello Harrington and some guy named Iverson in the Sweet 16. So if you don't have that matchup, that maybe you get through a different Sweet 16, round, and you got a chance. Of course, you left off Tony Battie, one of the most complete teams, including the 2019 team, the national championship losing team to Virginia. Those two teams, both very, very good, very complete, rim sealers, post players that can do that, all that stuff. So what happens if they win the national title that year? Well, Dickey ain't getting fired and you're not bringing in Bob Knight. Then you don't have Pat Knight. Then you don't wander around in the wilderness. Now, of course, if that happens, you probably never have Chris Beard, because if you don't hire Bob Knight, you never get Chris Beard. So all those years later, Chris Beard's probably not coming to Tech. There would be no connection, anything else. But again, if you win that year, in the United Supermarkets Arena, United Spirit Arena was already in the works at that time. It had been voted down by the city of Lubbock in 95. In 96, they were already planning on building it. That was going to happen. That would have not changed the trajectory of your facility. Maybe you make it nicer. Maybe you finish it out the way they always wanted it finished out when they opened it in 99, 2000. They opened it up about 75% of what they wanted to do, from amenities and everything else. So there you go. Good question. Old Texas Tech man, born in 65. Hell, you're not that much older than I am. What if Craig James' kid never comes to Lubbock? Not a whole lot changes. Obviously, you don't have the shed incident, but Leach and Texas Tech officials were already at loggerheads. They were already infighting. There had been infighting going on for several years. I don't think that would have tremendously changed the trajectory of the relationship with Mike Leach and the Texas Tech administration. I really don't. The tipping point, obviously, was what happened with Craig James. I think there probably would have been something else that would have probably set that off. And in 2009. In 9 and 10, I think it would have ended the way it ended. And by that, I mean a divorce. It just wouldn't have ended that way. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. And a lot of people, try to gloss over some things, but that's where it was going. Mike had been trying to get out of Lubbock since 2005, 2006. He thought he was being backstabbed by assistant coaches. He became increasingly paranoid. '08, everything was all in with at the time with some transfers and how they leveraged the roster on that and what they knew the out years were going to be in 9 and 10, and that was going to be his get out year, and he was going to get a job where he could go surf every day. And when that wasn't happening, when that wasn't playing out the way he thought after '08 into '09, then you had him with a contentious contract renegotiation, wanting Bob Stoops money, and Mac Brown money, and Tech saying, well, you hadn't done what those guys have done. It was going to end that way anyways. Chris, what if Tech hires Darvin Ham instead of Adams? I love Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham used to come to Williams and Hyatt show remotes at Speed's Pool Hall and hang out with us. Darvin Ham's great. Darvin Ham is a great basketball mind and a coach. I fear that it would have ended up kind of the same way that it ended up when Houston hired Clyde Drexler many years ago. He had no college connections. He had no coaching tree college to go to. That I don't think it would have worked. Of course, you wouldn't have had the freak out with Adams, but I think it would have set the program back more so than the Adams debacle set it back. JC, I agree with Bro. Banned OC, and better yet, the will. I have no idea. I agree with Bro. What did Bro say? OC and better yet, quarterback. Ban the quarterback from any quarter run. Yes, I'm with you on that. What if Staubach decides on a Navy career? Craig Morton becomes your quarterback in the 1970s for the Dallas Cowboys. He's on the roster, obviously, in 69. He stays there until 72. Traded to the Giants and then ends up in Denver. You face him in Super Bowl 12. So yeah, if there's no Staubach, if he just decides he loves the Navy, wants to stay in after Vietnam, and doesn't ever go back to pro football, whatever reason, you roll with the Cal Berkeley Golden Bear and Craig Morton, who alternated plays with Staubach in 70 and 71 until Staubach famously goes to Landry and says, hey, baby, play me or trade me. A lot of Cowboy fans don't know that Staubach demanded either start me or trade me, that I've been out of here for 4 years. I just get now back. I'm not going to do this crap. Well, you saw what happened. Old Texas Tech man, is there any way possible the USA Arena gets enlarged? No. 10 years ago, they were talking about scaling it back, taking seats out. No, it's at 15,500. It's as big as it's going to be. It's as big as it needs to be. Sweet spot. Everything is just right for the arena. The capacity is where it should be. But yeah, for about 10, 15 years, there were a lot of people saying, well, we built this too big. Now, of course, in the early mid-2000s up until about 2005, it was the Lady Raiders selling it out. Then Bob Knight comes in and they get some sellouts there. But yeah, no, 15.5's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Sweet spot. And the way it's built, you can have that lower bowl filled up with 8,000 people. And on TV, it looks like, 15 sellout. Stephen, game plan, 7 to 9 rushing plays with a running back, then play action pass, rinse and repeat. Yeah, the game plan we're talking about, it's Hammond time. Don't play Baron Morton this week. Let him get ready for Kansas State. What do you want to see out of the game plan? I want to see a ton of Dickey. I want to see, where is it? Where's my Post-it note? I had it. It's over here somewhere, man. Where'd my Post-it note go? There it is. Mac Leftwich should be walking around with this on his forehead around the football facility all freaking week, all right? This is my tribute to a Jim Cramer. If anybody gets the reference to Jim Cramer in the Post-it note, and you guys can tell me that, I'll be highly impressed. Highly impressed if you get that. Run the running backs. Take the pressure off the quarterback. I'll ask again as we go through tonight. Best wide receiver right now for Texas Tech. Who is it? Right? You got John Carlos Miller. You got Virgil. You got Aiken. You got a lot of dudes. Who's the best wide receiver? Who do you want getting the ball? I'm looking right here at the two deep on that. Caleb Douglas. You know, Terrence Carter Jr., Carlos Miller, Coy Aiken. Yeah. Who's the best wide receiver on this team? I would submit that it's a really hard question to answer. I'm intrigued to find out what you think. It's What If Wednesday. Usually we give you the alternate history question. Tonight you give us the question, your what if questions. And then if you want to talk about Oklahoma State in the game, we can. I'm more intrigued to find out what you guys think you can learn from Oklahoma State in their demise over the last couple of years. What's the warning sign? What should you take away? What should you take away from the demise of Oklahoma State? Because 2 years ago, they were infinitely better as a program than you are on many levels. And yet here you are, the largest point spread in Big 12 history. Fascinating. All right, let's get you going on the United Supermarkets chat line. United Supermarkets helping you get ready for game day this weekend, getting you ready for everything. I stopped in today. I grabbed the ready meals to go, right there. You come in the deli section or whatever at your local United or Market Street. Mashed potatoes, bingo. Then they got these chicken strips and macaroni and cheese meal. I'm like, all right, that's good. We can grab that. And I got some potato chips too. Chris gets in on Facebook. By the way, is everybody sharing this with your friends on whatever social media platform you're with? Facebook, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. YouTube, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland channel. Free, all of them. At Ryan Hyatt Media on Twitter. Hit share. Spread the word. We would love 1,000 YouTube channel subscribers. So all of you people who are already on Twitter and Facebook, it don't cost nothing to go over to YouTube and subscribe. The next thing we ask everybody who enjoys the program, likes what we do, kind of enjoys it, the power of 5. 5 of you every night go to the Shropshire Agency's Facebook page, United Supermarkets, South Plains College, Hat Creek Interiors here in the beautiful Hat Creek Interior Studios. And tell them thanks. And that when I need to buy a new sofa, I'm going to Hat Creek. Hey, next time I'm shopping insurance, I'm going to Shropshire. South Plains College, thanks for being a huge part of what happens in West Tech. If 5 people every night, if you guys take just 30 seconds to do that for our sponsors, and then the media sponsors of any other program that you enjoy. It is massive in this day and age of massive media traffic and sponsors and advertisers wondering, is anybody hearing the message? Are they getting this? It's harder and harder to cut through the chaff these days. So if you've got programming you like, sorry, Nat, if you can do that, that's huge. Now, I think you advance. If you do it, hey, hit me on Twitter and say, hey, went over to so-and-so Facebook page. I'll go over there and like your post. I'll share it. I'll do stuff. The power of 5. All right, Chris on Facebook. Ryan Hyatt's Radar. What if Tech had not? What if we'd not hired a boneheaded that whole Matt Wells hire? All right, so who gets it? Would have been the interesting question at the time. Sonny Dykes would have been one of the possibilities. Now, of course, at that time, the Rager Dykes Auto Group lawsuit, debacle, everything else was in full swing. That the Dykes name in Lubbock was not good. Fair or unfair to Sonny, not good. but that would have been one of the top candidates. You look around at some of the others. One of them would have been Aranda. Was it Aranda at the time? Maybe Aranda at the time. There were a couple of others, and I want to say it wasn't Venables. Somebody else who no, somebody else who got a job and got fired almost immediately after. So then you go, okay, who was there? I supported the Matt Wells hire. I looked at the resume. I talked to people in the coaching fraternity, and they said he can win at Texas Tech. But he never bought in. He didn't fully buy in for whatever reason. He didn't buy in. I don't get it. Because I think he could have been successful. He had a bad staff. He had a bad staff around him. But, you know, for those who are around, yeah, I supported the hire, championed it, thought it was going to be good. Wasn't good. Never know sometimes. Chris jumps in on Facebook. What if the Colts draft Ryan Leaf and the Chargers draft Peyton Manning? Leaf was going to have problems no matter where he went, and if you know his history and everything else, he's been very upfront about it. He probably doesn't work out any better there than he does in San Diego. So the Chargers take Peyton Manning instead of Leaf in '97 into the 90 or 98 was the first rookie year was 99. Was that the rookie year? I think it was 99. Yeah. So the rookie year was. Now I'm talking myself out of it. So who doesn't end up in San Diego? Drew Brees doesn't end up in San Diego. So where does Drew Brees end up going? Becomes the domino effect. Where does he go? Does he end up in Dallas or something? We don't know. Manning would have been great no matter where he goes. I think Lee flames out. Colts don't get the run. They don't become the challengers. So maybe we have this 1990s or 2000s, pardon me, early 2000s challenge between the West and the East with the Patriots, with Tom Brady, and the Chiefs. Of course, you got Wade Phillips out there who can't win anything meaningful. Advantage Patriots all the way around. Law don't go around here. What can we do with Lincoln Riley on What If Wednesday? Have some fun with that. What if Lincoln Riley really were from Muleshoe, Texas, and from West Texas still? Do you know who R.C. Maxfield is? R.C. Maxfield? Are you talking about the media guy? Young guy, good guy? R.C. Maxfield? Yeah, does tech stuff. If that's who you're talking about, yeah. Best wide receiver, Jeff, on YouTube, is Virgil. I would have said Douglas, but seems to go through phases of the dropsies, and nobody likes the dropsies. Nobody likes the dropsies. Richie Virgil, cowboy coy. All right. Lesson from Oklahoma State is don't get complacent with success. Stay ahead of the trend. I mean, really, you now I don't have to do anything more on the topic. You pretty much nailed it right there. Yeah. And don't have a head coach who hangs around in an era because he's getting paid, but he didn't like the era he's getting paid in. I think that was the difference. I have a lot of respect for Jay Wright at Villanova, who retired because he didn't want to coach in this era. He didn't like the transfer portal. He didn't like NIL, and he got the hell out. He didn't hold his school hostage. Gundy held Oklahoma State hostage in a way. He did embrace it. I don't even listening to some of the comments, he's a smart guy. He's not dumb. He's involved in college football at the highest level every day. But it's almost like either there was a willful disconnect or a cognitive dissonance that allowed him to say, well, we really don't have to do what they're, or that the transfer portal is really not that big a deal, or the NIL, or whatever. I think the biggest takeaway for me from Oklahoma State is you have to do exactly what Texas Tech has done, which is say, this is the landscape, these are the rules, we can play within it, and then you have to have coaches who say, I'm willing to do that. I still say today, I have no idea what Joey McGuire's thoughts are on the transfer portal, on NIL, on players getting paid, any of that. But I know he wants to win, and he embraced it. You look at Texas Tech baseball. Tim Tadlock, not a big fan of it. I'm okay saying that. Not a big fan of and he did some early portal stuff. He brought some guys in, but not his style. His style was to go get really good high school players. Really good high school players. Get them in, grow them, sprinkle a little transfer here and there, and have a program and a culture that grew over 2 and 3 years. And the players back to, well, that changed rapidly. And you haven't been to the College World Series since 2019. You've missed the postseason for 2 straight years. And this is a huge year for Tim Tadlock that if he doesn't show improvement, I don't believe he'll be the head coach at Texas Tech next year. Minimum make the NCAA tournament. The world's changing. So I think the lesson from Oklahoma State is that you have to have an administration that understands it and embraces it and can access it, and coaches that are willing to say, all right, we can function in this environment and we're going to go along with it. They didn't have that at Oklahoma State in the football program, and look where they are now in 2 short years. Now, the other thing I think you should take away from Oklahoma State is you can have a meteoric rise like Texas Tech, Indiana, Vanderbilt, and you can go down the elevator just as fast because they can come into your program quick and they can leave quick. That all the guys you brought in this year, they can leave just as fast. And they can go to the hot new school and the hot new program and the hot new coach just as quickly as they got here. There is no long term anymore. 4 years? 2 years? Maybe. You're living day to day. You better wake up broke and try to get rich every day. Chris, with every sport in their athletic department, I can't think of a university that fumbled NIL worse than Oklahoma State. Yeah, across the board. Baseball's still hanging in there, but yeah. JC, USA sweet spot. What is the sweet situation at USA? They got the luxury boxes that are dated, late 90s. They're sold out. Best receiver, dependable and doing it. Still Coy Aiken, which is slightly disappointing. Oklahoma State and others showing alignment was missing. I like the use of alignment there. The alignment from coaches to administration to the realm of college sports. Yeah. How many games do you think Texas Tech basketball will win? 24. Hell, I don't know. It's a good non-conference schedule. I wish they were playing some of the good games at home so you people could see it in Lubbock and West Texas. Yeah, that'd be nice. But it's an upgrading schedule. That's good. It'll help the RPI. You got a chance to be, I think, if you finish top 4 in the Big 12, you got a chance to be a 3-seed or better. Which for me, really, that's my litmus test. If you're a 3-seed or better in the NCAA tournament, 3s and 2s pretty much the same, obviously. And then the one line, it's so hard to get there. You got to win a league. You got to win stuff. Hard to do that. Chris, Jim Leavitt. That's right. Jim Leavitt was a candidate. Legendary Jim Leavitt. Chaz Poe. Updated outlook for the season. Tech goes 11-1 and doesn't make the Big 12 championship game. Plays Ole Miss in the Cotton Bowl. I know it sounds ridiculous, but no, the tiebreakers. I guess you can still win out and not make it, but I'm not sure exactly how. I really think if you go 11-1, everything I've seen indicates that most logical, likely scenarios is that Texas Tech would be one of the top 2 teams going there if you're 11-1. because you're going to take down BYU. You've got an elimination game on the other side with Cincinnati and BYU, or Cincinnati, I can't remember who it is. Then Utah factor. So you also have, well, I think it'll clear up a little bit more this week. I think Tech's 11-1. They're in the Big 12 title game. I think everything I've seen seems to indicate that. Is there still a San Diego Chargers if Manning ended up there? Good question. So was it George Spanos and the Spanos family that had owned the Chargers forever, and they were pretty much stupid. San Diego didn't want to build, a new stadium. They built Petco down there on the harbor for the baseball team. You were running in the stadium deal, and you had LA right up the road, minus NFL teams for years, trying to get people to come in, trying to get stuff going. I don't know if that changes precipitously, because are we saying that the Chargers win a Super Bowl with Manning? If you say they win a Super Bowl with Manning, do they get a new stadium built there? That would be the crux to the argument. I don't know that they win a Super Bowl with Manning. I mean, they barely won a Super Bowl with Manning in Indianapolis, playing the hapless Colts in the rain there with Prince playing at halftime. What if Mahomes went to OU? Well, Tech wouldn't have retired his number. Tech wouldn't get all the publicity out of it. And if he goes to OU, would he have had more team success? Yes. They were a better team. They were a better program at the time. So if Mahomes goes to OU, he wins more in college. Does it change the Mahomes trajectory? Probably not. Does it change Tech's trajectory? Cliff, okay, so Mahomes doesn't go to Tech. It affects Cliff Kingsbury more than Mahomes. Mahomes does what he does. If we assume he's got the talent and everything else, he's playing around good talent. He wins, they do everything else. So Cliff, now he doesn't have the Mahomes card to play when he gets fired. He probably doesn't get the USC job for 6 weeks, and they're probably not hiring him there in Arizona. So I would say it would have affected Cliff Kingsbury more than it would have affected Mahomes. As far as the Tech trajectory, what did it matter when he was here or not? You went to mid-level bowl games and had bad offensive lines and defense. All right, a couple more before we get out of here. You guys have been really good tonight. Breaking news, I live in Sapulpa. I've been in Sapulpa. I've been through Sapulpa, driving up to Stillwater. Oklahoma just arrested a man here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who was a member of the Hamas and living here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. That's about right for the Okies. All right, Stephen. What if Mr. and Mrs. Campbell decided to live a childless marriage out in Canyon? Hey. There you go. We have a winner. We have an ender at 7:03. I went long. We have an ender. That's good. You guys are the best. If you enjoy this, share it on social media. Invite people in. We want you to go thank our great sponsors tonight, United Supermarkets and Market Street here in West Texas, into the Metroplex, and around the great state of Texas. Shropshire Insurance of Texas on Facebook. Tell them, hey, South Plains College and Hat Creek Interiors here in the Hat Creek Interiors studios. We're going to archive this in a minute, put it on the website tomorrow. It's overrated, underrated, rated right Thursday. So get ready for that in the morning. Raiderland Hot Links brought to you by Jackson Brothers Meat Locker in Post, Texas. Heck, get your stuff ordered for your next tailgate with Jackson Brothers Meat, man. They are the gold standard here in West Texas. So what you need. You guys are a lot of fun. We appreciate the conversation. I got to get a couple of buttons to get out of here, and we'll see you in the morning at theraiderland.com.